Hello, the world of YouTube. Today we're going to be talking kind of modeling, but just like a quick tip on how to actually add something like pipes and stuff like that to your model. So right here, what I have is this corridor, and I want to put pipes or something like that on the wall, or even something like these little things I have here on the side. These things here I have on the side. Well, a lot of times when you're doing this sort of thing, you want it to follow the contour of the wall itself, and but you have to deal with curves. So there's a couple of ways you can do this. You can actually you could take the curves tool here in curves, and you can start trying to click this thing somewhere and make it work, or which won't work, by the way. I mean, that's a ridiculous way to do it. Or you can click a curve, right? Let's say if I make this curve and then I go to control point and I select this. Now I want to get it onto the object itself, because if you look at the curve itself, look how far away it is. It's not really even next to the model itself. You see that curve's all the way over there. But what I can do is I can take that curve point and I can hit C, as long as this line and this CV point, the CV, is in line with each other. I can take this and I'm going to hit C, and you're going to see the little thing change right there as I hit C. I hold C down, I put it over there, I hold C down, and then it'll snap onto this line. Now let's look at what happened there. That CV snapped onto the line that was in view, you see. So I can do that to all of them. I'm going to take this point, C, snap, take this point, snap, snap. Now I have it on the object itself. And I can do that all the way down the line, and then I can go ahead and start making my pipe. That's a harder way to do it, because you already know you want to follow the contour of the object itself. So what we want to do is a little bit different. We want to go ahead and take the curve from the object. So first we go to edge and we select the curve we want. I'm going to choose this curve here. I'm going to double click it, and I have the whole curve. Then I'm going to go to edit and duplicate surfaces. Don't detach the curve, because you don't want to mess up your object by removing a curve from it. So we're going to duplicate the curve, and when that happens, you're going to see a white line representing the curve that was duplicated. A lot of times the pivot point will be somewhere center of your scene. So I already have a shortcut here that I put here. I'm gonna center my pivot. If I go to let me see. Yeah, so if I go to modify and I go to center pivot, that's where it is. What I did was I just added a menu up here. Okay, so once that's centered, I can what I want to do is I want to move this out a little bit so I can work with it. Or I can take this object here and put it on another layer, which I did here, and then make it disappear magically. Make all that disappear. Alright, so I want to make this out of a pipe, and one of the problems I'm having right now is that this thing is segmented, and if I try to make this out of a pipe, it's only going to do one part. It's going to do this little tiny piece right there. Let me zoom into that. This little tiny piece is all it's going to do. Then I got to do this piece, and I got to do that piece. So really, that's not the way to go about it. What we want to do is we want to make this whole thing one whole piece. So I'm going to select that, and then I'm going to go to edit curves, and I'm going to go to attach curves, and it's going to make a separate copy of the curve itself. And again, it's going to make it the pivot point center the scene, and I'm going to center that pivot, and then I'm just going to move it out just a little bit so you can see that there's two different curves here. Okay, I can go ahead and delete this one because I don't really need it anymore. And then I'm going to go ahead and put this one right back where it was, since it has the same history. Now what I want to do right now, I really want to delete my history. And like I did before with the center pivot, it's over here in Edit, Delete by Type History, or Delete All by Type History. But I have a little button here I put here so I can do the same thing. And I'm going to go ahead and clear the history there. And normally, when you want to make a pipe out of something, you need it to follow a certain structure. So I can either choose this or I can choose this as to what I want. So I'm going to go ahead and create a circle there. And as you can see, the circle is going to be kind of hard to match up to my line here, which I don't have to, but I like having it next to the line. I can still make this cast to this without having it on it, but in order to have a faster workflow, it's always good to have it right next to it so you can adjust it when you need to fix the history. So I'm going to use that same trick of putting it right in eyesight of the line, and I'm going to hit C, and now I click it and it snaps to the line, so it's on that line. I'm going to move it out here just a little bit, and I'm going to I want to rotate this thing. I rotate it. Let's see. Rotate this 90 degrees and the x-axis. Now, when we are making, we're going to use the extrude. We're going to extrude this as a pipe. When we're doing this, we want to be careful of how we select things. So let's say if I just select this and then I select that, or I just select randomly, just random selection. So I select this and I select that, right? Or random selection, doesn't matter. And I go to surfaces and I'm going to pull this out just so since I want to use this. So I go ahead and extrude that. Actually, that did not come out the way we wanted. Right? That's not supposed to be this way. Okay. So the first thing you want to do when you're dealing with the extrude is you're going to want to first make sure that you select the proper thing in order. If I select this first, then I select this first, what I'm telling Maya is that I want to cast this to this. And then I extrude. Really what I should have done was I should have gone here to here and then extrude. But even that looks whacked out. Well, the reason why this looks whacked out, even though this is correct, is because when I made my curve here, it wants to follow these CVs here. So I'm going to zoom in here. And there's so many CVs here. It's trying to make a curve based off of this, and edges and joints and stuff like based off of this. So what I want to do first is I want to be able to clean this up. I'm gonna go into control vertices mode, and I'm just gonna clean this up. I don't want all these vertices here. I'm just selecting them and I'm deleting them, and that completely works on curves, not necessarily on polygons. All of these are here for no reason whatsoever. It's just one long pipe. Okay, so now I want to balance this out, so I'm going to select these curves. Oh, hold on. So I want to balance these out. I want to even these out. So I'm going to select those curves, and then I'm going to scale them in, which balance them out that way. Okay. So now I have a better looking curve. You can orchestrate this whichever way you want. So I'm going to go to objects mode. I'm going to select the curve, and I'm going to go here, which would be a problem because what I'm now telling Maya is that I want to take this curve and I want to cast it to that round circle, so I extrude. That's why I get all this weirdness happening over here. Remember, cast the circle to the line unless you meant it to be the other way. And then I'm going to go ahead and extrude, and as you can see, it follows the contour of the line itself. Now, because of the history of this right here is still connected to the object itself. So I'm going to take this and I'm going to center my pivot. I'm going to move it out a little bit because I want to work with this right here. And I can shrink that, and as you can see, as I shrink it, it shrinks the whole thing. But really, I shouldn't have moved it over. Hold on. There we go. So I'm going to select this, deselect that, and I'm going to shrink it. So it shrinks the whole thing, as you can see there. And the good part about this is the memory is still here, so I can select this. Actually, I'm going to select these two, and I'm going to select this, and then I'm going to scale that in just a little bit. Oops. I need to check that. Check this. Scale it in. Open that up just a little bit. I'm going to scale this one and move this out just a little bit to open it up a little more. And as you can see, because of the history here, I can manipulate this thing in any way I want. I can have it all whacked out if I want, but that's not what I want. You can make any form you want. Okay, so from there, if I look now and I turn this on, I have now a pipe, and all I have to do from here is put it back where it was. Center pivot again, and put it back where it was. And there's my pipe. Okay, so I can add some detail to this pipe. What I'm going to do is I'm going to select these vertices here, and I'm going to balance that out. And I'm going to create an edge loop, let's say here, and then I'm going to balance that out, scale that in. I'm going to select the faces here, and I'm going to extrude that. I'm just scaling to make it bigger, and I can divide the sides there. You can make it as big as you want, obviously. Now, if I go ahead, I'm gonna turn this one off. If I go ahead and select this and then I smooth it out, it doesn't look anything like what I intended. As you can see, all these things are all swervy. That's not really what I wanted. I wanted it something like those over there. So what you're missing is you just need to add a little bit more detail to this. So in order to stop this from going crazy, what I need to do is just add a few more edge loops. So I'm going to go to object mode, go to edge loop, and I'm just going to add a few more edge loops. A little bit more detail. Now when I smooth it out, as you can see, it's a lot better. And to fix these over here would be exactly the same thing. You can add edge loops, or you can select these edges. I'm going to double click them. Double click all of these edges. The ones you want to be pronounced, let's say. Okay, so I have all those edges selected. I am going to not extrude, but I'm going to bevel them. Bevel those edges. Now when you look at it, it's a little bit better. And to make it even more pronounced, what I'm going to do is I'm going to add some edge loops. It's real simple stuff actually. It's just you got to take your time to do it. You know, extrusions, bevels, just kind of know the tool you need. You don't have to know the whole system. The other tip I would give everyone who's using this program and any other program is to know your shortcut keys, because your productivity goes up, I believe, about like 80 or 90% just by knowing your shortcut keys. You don't have to be, every time I want to do something, I got to go up here to the menu, select it, go through the parameters and all that sort of stuff. That's a lot of time wasted for every single thing you want to do, when actually I could just kind of go like this and all this sort of stuff, you know, and get right back to where I want in a few seconds. So as you can see, there's nothing really fancy going on here. It's just a matter of knowing the tools and knowing how they're going to react from here. And then I have the pipe that I want. And I can add other elements to that. And that's how you make pipes. If I want to go ahead and get rid of this, the history, the connection between the pipe and the, the curve, I can go ahead and select the pipe. And then I'm going to delete the history. And now from that point on, the pipe is on its own. It has no connection to this at all. So I can move this around. I can delete it. There's zero connection. I might want to keep it if I wanted to make another pipe a little further down and then manipulate that. So that's a possibility. So I can just keep these on the side or put these in another layer like so. And name the layer. Oh, okay. Can't have that gap there. Alright, and so from there I can always use it that way. And with this one I can duplicate it and make instances of this to make it just like the ones over here. And then when I turn it on, as you can see, the pipe fits perfectly with the wall itself. Alright, so I hope that helps. If you have any questions, go ahead and email me or contact me through Facebook. Either Facebook at Malik Stalbert or Malik's World, or look up Malik Stalbert, or go to malikstalbert.com. I have a lot of actually other tutorials on there, and I have a lot of other stuff that I do on malikstalbert.com. And you can also contact me through YouTube. So hopefully this helps. I'll be putting up a few more tips and tricks and stuff like that so for you guys to follow. Alright, talk to you guys later. Bye.